In today's discussion, we're diving into a fresh 7-round mock draft as we approach the excitement of draft day, just 2 weeks away. I want to clarify that my mock drafts are based on what I believe will actually happen rather than what I would do if I were the general manager. There are merits to both approaches, but my goal is to give you a realistic picture of what to expect on draft night. Starting with the first pick in round 1, I'm going with Mike Green. There's a strong connection between the Atlanta Falcons and Green right now. Both Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot made the trip to Huntington, West Virginia to check out his pro day, which suggests they have a genuine interest in him. Now, picking at 15 is tricky, especially this late in the process, because it's hard to predict who will still be available. However, if Green is on the board, I believe he will be the choice for the Falcons. If they pass on him, that's one thing, but if he goes to the Bears at 10, that's out of my control. The Falcons are in dire need of pass-rushing help, and with 17 sacks last season and impressive testing numbers at his pro day, it seems like a straightforward decision. Many analysts have him ranked closely with Abdul Carter, so if he falls to 15, I see him donning a Falcons jersey. But if he goes earlier, all bets are off. Now, let's gauge the interest here. Would you like me to go live for round 1? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're interested in watching live coverage, drop an ATL in the comments. My team is trying to gauge interest for draft night, and I want to ensure we're not wasting anyone's time. Moving on to round 2, after selecting Mike Green, I'm looking at cornerback Trey Amos from Ole Miss. This is a name you might have seen mentioned as a potential day 2 pick. We've discussed him before, and there's a lot to appreciate about his size. Standing at 6 feet 1 inch and weighing 195 pounds, he has solid length. However, teams will need to do their homework on him as a person. Transferring 3 times raises some red flags and prompts questions about what led to those moves. It's not just a simple change. It's a significant decision to switch campuses multiple times. Trey Amos has made quite the journey, moving from Louisiana to Alabama, and it's clear why he's a name to watch. During his time at Alabama, he established himself as a dependable player on defense. Then he quickly transitioned to Ole Miss, where he led the team with 16 pass breakups and tied for the team lead with 3 interceptions. His performance at Ole Miss showcased the skills that many were eager to see during his time at Alabama, proving he could handle the competition. Now, if you're worried about Mike Green's productivity because he played in the Sun Belt, remember that Trey Amos faced similar concerns. He made the jump from Alabama to Ole Miss without any issues adjusting to the speed of the SEC. It's important not to underestimate players from smaller programs. They can absolutely succeed at the next level. Just look at examples like Khalil Mack, who played at Buffalo, or Jason Pierre-Paul. There are plenty of players who have made the leap from Group of 5 schools to the NFL and thrived. Returning to the cornerback discussion, I believe it's crucial to add depth to this position. Cornerback is a foundational role, and having enough talent is essential, especially when injuries occur. While you might think that addressing this position isn't a priority in round 2, consider that the contracts for players like Hughes and Alfred are not long-term commitments. Hughes' deal is essentially a 1-year contract, so if he doesn't meet expectations, the team can move on after 2025. If he does perform well but at a price that doesn't fit, having a promising player from round 2 ready to step in as a full-time starter in his second season would be a significant advantage. Before we dive deeper into the rest of the mock draft, I want to take a moment to highlight the importance of making smart choices this season. Eating well can be a challenge, but it doesn't have to be. With nutritious meals that are quick and easy to prepare, you can focus on what truly matters. Let's keep that energy up as we continue to explore the draft. Let's get back to the mock draft after that brief interlude. As we move into round 4, I'm selecting Billy Bowman, the safety from Oklahoma. I admit I'm a bit uneasy about not addressing the pass rush in the first 2 rounds, but safety is also a significant need for the Falcons that shouldn't be overlooked. Bowman stands at 5 feet 10 inches and weighs 192 pounds. While I usually don't put too much emphasis on a player's size, it's worth noting that Bowman has faced some criticism for not being the biggest guy on the field and for his tackling form, which can be inconsistent. However, what he lacks in size, he makes up for with incredible instincts and ball skills. Over his career at Oklahoma, he racked up 11 interceptions, including 2 last season. He's a playmaker who knows how to put himself in the right position to succeed. The good news is that the Falcons currently have 2 starting safeties, so Bowman wouldn't be expected to start right away. This gives him the opportunity to develop for a year, and by 2026, he could be ready to step in as an upgrade, especially if players like Jordan Fuller, who is on a 1-year contract, or Mike Hughes, who has a 3-year deal with less than $10 million guaranteed, move on. This approach alleviates the pressure of needing to find immediate starters in the draft. Now, as we wrap up the mock draft, let's talk about round 7. Typically, not much attention is given to this round, but I'm going with Curtis Rower from Indiana. With the possibility of Kirk Cousins being traded, the Falcons will need a new backup quarterback, and Rower could be a solid addition. He brings a wealth of college football experience, and his connection with Michael Penix at Indiana could be beneficial. It's round 7, so why not take a chance on a player who could add depth to the roster? If you thought my last pick was a bit unconventional, wait until you hear about this one. Thor Griffith, a defensive tackle from Louisville. I'll be completely honest, I chose him mainly because his first name is Thor. That was my starting point. After making the pick, I did a little digging and discovered he hails from New Hampshire, which is pretty unique. There aren't many players from that state, at least not that I can recall off the top of my head. Griffith also has an impressive academic background, having played at Harvard for 4 years. He's an Ivy League athlete, which speaks volumes about his intelligence and work ethic. He showed promise as a pass rusher, and after transferring, he had a solid season at Louisville, recording 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and 19 tackles. For a 7th-round pick, the combination of his name and his background is hard to resist. Now, let's talk about how I'd grade my mock draft. If I had to give it a letter grade, I'd say it's a solid B. With only 3 picks in the first 4 rounds, it's tough to walk away with a wealth of talent, so an A feels out of reach. I think a B or even a B- is fair, considering I secured a potential day 1 starter in Mike Green. I'd love to hear your thoughts on my picks. How would you grade my mock draft? Drop your opinions in the comments below.